of Ohio. Congressman, welcome. Always good to have you. So COVID relief, let's all say it's going to get passed tomorrow and signed into law. And you tell me if there's anything that we're missing here. But after that, what is the next big what's the next big agenda item that the House is going to tackle?
Well, we're doing the Worker Act, the PRO Act now, which is a very big pro-worker act. But I think the next big piece of budgetary or appropriations is going to be around the transportation bill. And it sounds like everyone's in agreement that it needs to be big. It needs to be far-reaching. It needs to invest into those communities that have been left behind, the smaller, mid-sized communities that need a shot in the arm, that have been left behind from globalization and automation, but also big enough to take care of the big transportation needs around transit, around bridges. So we're going to go big. And if the Republicans want to sit on the sidelines for this one, they're more than welcome to do it, because the American people are going to feel it.
You're on appropriations. Is this something that you can get done through reconciliation only?
I'm not sure. It may have to. I mean, I don't know. We got to see what's going on in the Senate. I think it's always appropriate for us to reach across the aisle to try to make a deal. But like President Biden did with the COVID relief package, enough's enough. Like, we're not going to sit here and make the same mistakes that were made in 2009 around really trying to get a deal and working with the Republicans. Look, if the Republicans don't see the need for the average family in the United States who have just been through a pandemic and an economic collapse, if they don't see that we have to reinvest back into the country and rebuild the country, then they're going to continue to move to be a smaller and smaller minority that talks about Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head and all these other crazy things that they focus on, while we will be stacking up victories for the American people, that they will feel it and their communities will see it, and they're going to have to deal with the political consequences of that.
That being said, there are Democrats in the Senate who have said very vocally that they don't want to sign anything or they don't want to vote for anything that is not bipartisan. They want the effort to make legislation bipartisan. I'm thinking of Joe Manchin. I am thinking of Kyrsten Sinema. So in order to deal with that on the Democratic side, because, again, the Senate is 50-50 and you need 60 votes to pass legislation unless you go through reconciliation, what is a bipartisan, and I'll say infrastructure because we're talking about that, what is a bipartisan infrastructure bill coming out of the House that could pass the Senate look like?
I'm not sure, Katie, because I don't know what reality a lot of the Republicans are living in now. So it's hard to say what they would be for. All I can say is I know Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, they are going to reach across the aisle. Chuck Schumer's going to reach across the aisle to try to make a deal. But just like the COVID bill, if people are just screwing around and playing possum and they don't want to make the deal, then at the end of the day, we may have to move forward without them again. And when you look at the COVID relief bill, and I just saw some polling this morning, you know, about 63% of lower mid-income Republicans support the COVID relief package. So swing and a miss on the Republicans for trying to connect and be the party of the workers, right? They just missed the great opportunity to do that. Now, if we come with a transportation infrastructure bill and we do the same thing and they don't want to participate, then those Republicans in Arizona and West Virginia, they know Manchin, they know Sinema, they know they want to, but the parties, the tail's wagging the dog with the Republican Party. I don't think any Republican voter who already voted for Joe Manchin or Kyrsten Sinema is going to punish them somehow for not being able to drag a more and more radicalized Republican Party into a deal. But they will be able to go home to West Virginia and Arizona with a lot of money that's reinvesting back into those communities, and they'll be able to campaign on that. And I think the Republicans are foolish right now for doing what they're doing.
It sounds like you're making an argument for them to reconsider their stance on the filibuster. Congressman Tim Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to continue this conversation.